اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله والله هو الغني الحميد. إن يشأ يذهبكم ويأتي بخلق جديد وما ذلك على الله بعزيز. ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وإن تدع مثقلة إلى حملها لا يحمل منه شيء وإن تدع مثقلة إلى حملها لا يحمل منه شيء ولو كان ذا قربى إنما تنذر الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب وأقاموا الصلاة ومن تزكى فإنما يتزكى لنفسه وإلى الله المصير. وما يستوي الأعمى والبصير ولا الظلمات ولا النور ولا الظل ولا الحرور وما يستوي الأحياء ولا الأموات إن الله يسمع من يشاء وما أنت بمسمع من في القبور إن أنت إلا نذير. إنا أرسلناك بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا. وإن من أمة إلا خلا فيها نذير. وإن يكذبوك فقد كذب الذين من قبلهم جاءتهم رسلهم بالبينات وبالزبر وبالكتاب المنير. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك تهوى وتمتعه فيها طويلا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد المسيح. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثار والوتر الموجود. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بثنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بغيت وبغي الليل والنهار يا أبا عبد الله يا أبا عبد الله لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت ولعن الله أمة نفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشيائهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم يا أبا عبد الله يا أبا عبد الله إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرم لمن هربكم إلى يوم القيامة ولعن الله ولا زياد ولا مرمان ولعن الله بني أمية قاتبا ولعن الله ابن مرجان ولعن الله عمر بن سعد ولعن الله شمرا ولعن الله أمتان أسرجت والجماد وتنقبت القتال بأبي أنت وأمي لقد عظم مصابي بك فأسأل الله الذي يكرم مقامك واكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله اللهم اجعلني أنك وجيها للحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة يا أبا عبد الله يا أبا عبد الله إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بمبالاتك وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك ونسب لك الغان وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس الظلم والجور عليكم وأبرأ إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانا وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشيائكم برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الغار وبالبراءة من أشيائهم وأتباعهم إني سلم لمن سالمكم وهرب لمن هربكم وولي لمن ولاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يثبتني عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة واسأله أن يبلغنا المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب الثاني مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم، وأسأل الله باقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يعطيني بمصابيبكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزية في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تنال من سلامات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية، وابن آكلة الأكبار اللعين ابن اللعين، على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله، في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرغت به آل زياد وآل مرمون بقتل الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعنة منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقف هذا أيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالمبالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد، وآخر تابع له ولا ذلك. اللهم لعن الإصابة التي جاهدت الحسين عليه السلام وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لنهم جميعا وتمرا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بغيت وبغي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا ثم لعن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسا، ولعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمران وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. شکر خدا که بر در تابدین بهر رضای مادرت آمدیم سجده. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين، لك على مصابهم الحمد لله على عظيم رضيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الموت، وثبتني قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inshallah, we will have a youth speech by Sister Fatima Zahra. So please welcome her with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلى على محمد وعلى محمد.
It looks like we're having technical difficulties, so we will inshallah we'll try again tomorrow. Sayyid Hadi Yassin, our respected scholar, is on. So inshallah we will proceed with the lecture with our respected scholar with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم altogether. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين صلوات على محمد وآل محمد صلى على محمد. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May Allah inshallah accept our prayers, our amal, our du'as, our mourning and azah for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein inshallah. And inshallah we ask him to make it a dhakhira and reward for dunya, this world, and for hereafter and akhirah inshallah with the barakat of salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he gave us this opportunity and tawfiq to be in another majlis by the name of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, and to show respect and azah and our mourning for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. We ask Allah make it inshallah a point of change, a point of taghyir in our lives for better. And we ask him to let us be more familiar and become more familiar with the ma'arif and with the teachings of Ashura and Imam Hussein, inshallah. We were talking about the characteristics of groups of people who were present in Ashura. We mentioned that how deep and how complicated actually is the whole movement of Ashura and Imam Hussein. And when the more you analyze it, the deeper you go, the more points and facts you find from this important event in the history of the world, not just Islam, and helps you to think deeper and deeper to be able to get more from it, inshallah. Our points were about the personalities of individuals, the personal traits of individuals, and the correlation of that with religiosity and dindari. What kind of people are mu'min? What kind of people are religious? What kind of personality keeps people away from din? What kind of personality traits would encourage people to be with din and with iman? When we describe personality traits, one thing is important, specifically according to Islam, stability and continuity of that is very important. That when we talk about a trait, that person should permanently have that trait, should be stable. That traits, that added attribute or adjective should be something that that person is recognized with it because of a long time that that person is practicing it, not short time, not just so. To give you an example, for example, when we talk about husn khuluq, good temper, those who have a good temper are those who just sometimes smile, sometimes are good with others, sometimes no. It's a permanent adjective and attributes that someone has, he or she, doesn't matter, that people know this is the attribute of this person. Some people, whenever you see them, you know, you expect them to have a smile on their face. Some people, you see them, you expect them to always be, upset or negative. Therefore, the either side, when it's continuity of that, then that becomes to what? So it becomes a trait of that person. Which again, it has some signs and some situation with that as well. We talked about some of the attributes of these people, of the companion of Imam Hussein, and also the characteristics of the enemies of Imam Hussein. But one thing I want to mention here is that because we related that topic to our current time, we mentioned one of the reasons that Ashura is alive because it's related to our current time, our daily life, personal, social, and even above and beyond that. It's related to our life today, 2020. That's how Ashura is alive. So one point might come to your mind is that we have some examples that the people might have changed. The personality have changed. Is it possible someone changed the personality? Well, from the first perspective, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult, people would not change that much. Look at yourself and look at others around you. How much do you think people who you knew or who you know now, right now, they changed? How much those people who had some personality issues that people didn't like, how much of them could change them? If someone was, angry all the time, if someone with bad temper, if someone was jealous, if someone was backbiting, God forbid. So how many percentage of people could change? And change, when we talk about it, comes with a motivation, incentive, a reason, a cause that can help that person to change. Therefore, people by themselves, it's very difficult to change. However, deen and religiosity is a great factor and supporter that can help a lot of people to change, a lot of people to improve themselves. We're talking about the correlation and relationship between personality traits and deendari, right? So deen can be a great factor that can help people to improve themselves. And I know that you know the tremendous examples that you heard in the history of Islam or even before. When you go to history of Islam, go at the beginning of Islam. All those jahilin, ignorant people who were so uncivilized, barbaric at that time. They were even burying their own daughters alive. These people, what changed them? Thousand and thousand years they were the same. What changed them to become so soft? Until before Islam, they were fighting with each other, Aus and Khazraj, because of the history read. The camel of, for example, Aus went to the land of Khazraj. Something happened, a fight between the owners. 10 years of fight over that. Very, very, away from the righteousness and piety and the truth. What made these people change all of a sudden within a couple of years only, or within sometimes less than that? What helps them to change their personality? These people who were fighting with each other now becomes brothers in Medina. That's not a joke, right? And how many years passed in Islam? Few months, few years, that's it. What helped them to change? Deen helped them to change and change the personality of ashkhas and personality of individuals. This is the factor first I want to say, and then we're going to go deeper, then to go to Ashura. Then deen, it has this possibility, this characteristics to do it. In the history, actually, our current time, to see how deen can change someone, I was just listening to one of the clips very nicely about one of the people in Tehran, in Iran, that who was very not a good person, the head of the gang, charging people, hurting people, a lot of things, drinking, many probably things that it was wrong. He was doing it and committing it. He had his own gang and he was the head of it. And one day when they were outside, probably in place in the nature or somewhere, he somehow had a meeting with one of the scholars over there. And anyhow, the discussion between these two people went to the point that the scholars told him that about the best characteristics that someone can have according to you and your gangs is the best characteristics is that someone would be loyal to others, who would feed them, who would support them, who give them something. Then the scholar says, Marhum Qavam said, then no, you're lying. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how much He helped you, how much He supported you, and how you're treating the ahkam of Allah and stuff like that. Anyhow, short discussion, he got tanabbuh, he changed. And this is the point what happened. He changed, he sold everything that he had. Everything that he had. He was the head of that gang. He sold everything, he put it in a suitcase, and he went to Qom, to Ayatollah Burjardi. He went to Qom to Ayatollah Burjardi. He said to Ayatollah Burjardi that this is my whole life, my whole asset, and it's all haram. It's all from people, got it from people here and there. The only thing, this is whole, the suitcase full of money, paper bill, full of money, is all haram, it's not mine. And the only other thing is my suit coat, my clothing. That's it. There are two things that are haram, and the rest, I have nothing else. Ayatollah Burjardi told him, so your suit coat, your coat is haram as well? He says, yes. He said, take it off and then leave. He took it off. He took it off. And then he started living. He came back. He changed his personality very, very passionately and strongly. He left. Before he got to the door, Ayatollah Burjardi called him to come back, and he was crying. Ayatollah Burjardi was crying. He says, come back, young man. Welcome back. You came very nicely. You came very nicely. Don't make your money, your life haram and najas anymore. Ayatollah Burjardi gave him 5,000 toman at that time in Iran. Let's say, I don't know, at that time probably it's like $50,000 right now, right? Something like that. From another money, not from the same, the money that Ayatollah Burjardi had himself. He says, go get this money, go do business for yourself, but halal things, leave. He left, he started doing the business, he went to other people, he got halaliyat. And then he became the head of one of the mokebs in Tehran, very famous. Anyhow, Deen can change personality of people. We have many of these examples. Ali Gandabi here, that person, this person. A lot of stories we have. Even our current time, Deen can change. Look at our current time in the United States. How much Deen can change some people. I always sometimes, I was in a lecture in one of the centers that someone who was next to my member, I remember maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. He was a member, and he was one of our brothers, and one of the brothers who were convert. And then I saw his whole body had tattoo. His face had tattoo here. And then, very interesting moment that when I saw him and the member, right there and the member, I told myself that how Deen can affect people. He probably went far away on the other side and experienced a lot of things. And finally, Deen could help him to come back to the right side. Nothing else. Deen comes with limitations. We know that. Religion comes with a lot of do's and don'ts. How come you leave that freedom that you had over there? That's why I respect our convert brothers and sisters so much. Those who come and stay and passionately follow the Deen, I respect them amazingly. Why? Because you left that apparent quote unquote freedom. You could do anything you want, and you came somewhere that you limit yourself. Yes. Don't look this way. Don't look that way. Lower your gaze. Don't do this. Don't eat this. Don't do this. Do that. Do this. Right? What is in this Deen that you came? It's so attractive to you that you become attracted, and then you came, you grab it, and you're practicing it, and all those things. Something is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk more about this concept actually, maybe in other nights close to Night of Ashura, inshallah. So Deen can change people, but who Deen will change? That's what I'm going to make it more complicated for you. With Deen change, can Deen change anyone? No. Would anyone that come to Deen would be changed? No. Who is religious that Deen can help this person to improve themselves? What do you mean? Whoever comes to Deen can be changed? No. That's what we're talking about, Ashura. We're talking about 30,000 Muslims. Many of them they knew Imam Hussein والسلام, and then they stood in front of, what kind of deen is that? What kind of deen is that Harmala has, Shamr has, Ibn Ziyad has, Umar al-Sa'd has, which there is no deen, by the way. No deen. We know, understand that point I mentioned yesterday. But what kind of salat is this? What kind of dindari is this? Religiosity is this that they claim, and this deen does not help them. Because some people do not accept who they are, what they do, the wrong personality traits. That time and today. There's some people of our brothers and sisters, inshallah, not in our communities outside, that they are not accepting what's wrong with them. I have a lot of clients, brothers and sisters. When I talk to 99%, I'm focusing on Muslims. When I talk to some people, they don't accept that something is wrong. It's always their spouse's fault. If she was not doing this, I wouldn't yell at her. If he was respecting me, I wouldn't do this. It's always about someone else's fault. Jahl murakkab, that no, I'm good. And there are a lot of people that they accept when they realize that's their mistakes, they accept it as well. Some people don't come to deen, as we mentioned before. Some people don't come to deen because of the personality of religious people, because of who they have seen in their communities, in their family around them, that how they treated others. That's why they made a bad impression for other people. Who would come towards deen? We mentioned some people come to deen with not a sincere intention, for some personal reasons and interests. Who will come to deen with personal? Who would come to deen sincerely now? We're going to talk about it. See, this deen, Islam, that it's claiming that it's the most important path, the most complete path and lifestyle for human beings. What is this deen? If you go to Quran, brothers and sisters, Surah Baqarah, first line and verse of this surah, and the second. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Alif Lam Mim. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْ. Say it out loud. You can hear it yourself out loud. هُدًى لِلْ. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This book, Quran, there's no rape, there's no shak and doubt. Let's put it this way. In this deen, in this book, Quran, and this book is hidayat and guidance for muttaqeen, for righteous people. Why it didn't say for mu'mineen? Why this is hudan lil mu'mineen? The deen, the book is the hidayat for mu'mineen. Why? Good question, right? Something is about muttaqeen, these righteous people. Something is about the characteristics of these people that Quran only guides these people. Quran is about the hidayah and the guidance of these people. Because if you say this book, Hudan lil Mu'mineen, then this book is not hidayah and guidance for non-righteous people. Because only mu'mineen that comes should be guided. Bear with me, it's a very important and delicate point. If it was saying Hudan lil Mu'mineen, that means this book only is the hidayat for mu'mineen and believers. How about non-believers? No, we can't guide you. But it says what? Hudan lil muttaqeen. This book will do the hidayah for those people who have taqwa. That means taqwa from this perspective is beyond deen. It's above deen. Taqwa means what? Taqwa means be very careful. What's your amal? What's your actions? What you're doing? Taqwa means this, right? This is taqwa. Taqwa means the action that person has is very careful with this action. What they are doing, how they're doing it, they're careful with this. And it's beyond deen. Very accurate. It can be with deen, it can be without deen. Taqwa, to be accurate in any job. But when it comes to taqwa ya dini and taqwa that is Taqwa from the religiosity and deen, that's the best taqwa that comes, right? I'm using these terms a little bit here and there. What do I mean, for example? For example, if you go to a doctor, you want that doctor to be very, even if it's not religious person, to be very accurate, to be very conscious about right and wrong, to think about the oath that they took before for the benefit of their patients, what they're doing and everything, right? You want that person to do the job as accurate as possible with the best result. And if that person doesn't have the taqwa in work and in ilm and in action, they might do something wrong that, take them away from it. That's why it doesn't matter. Ilm, someone who has the ilm, either the ilm al-deen, the knowledge that is related to deen, or the ilm science. There's corruption in both, right? How many scholars at the time of Imam Hussein, Qadi, Shurayh, Shamr, or others, they were scholars for themselves. They knew a lot. And what they did against their deen, against their knowledge, right? No taqwa in there. Therefore, if mu'min, if someone claimed that he or she has iman, but if they don't have taqwa, that personality traits, this is what? Temporary for this person. The deen is temporary. It's not permanent. They will finally, we mentioned this, finally they heard deen and they heard themselves and their beliefs. Such as Talha and Zubair. Remember the story of Talha and Zubair? One day, Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he's sitting with Talha and Amir al-Mu'minin, with Zubair and Amir al-Mu'minin, sorry. He's sitting with Zubair and Amir al-Mu'minin, and Zubair is looking at Imam Ali, very kind look, very passionately and kind, and probably smiling, something like that. Rasulullah told him, Zubair, do you like Ali? Zubair looked at Rasulullah very strange, and then he said, Rasulullah, of course, Ali is my relative. Of course I love Ali. Rasulullah says, Zubair, one day you will stand in front of Ali very unjustly. He was shocked at that time. What do you mean, Rasulullah? Zubair was one of the greatest companions of Rasulullah at that time. All the way come to the Jang Jamal, the war Jamal. When Amir al-Mu'minin called Zubair to come, he wanted to talk to him. He came and Amir al-Mu'minin reminded him of that memory that they had. He says, Zubair, do you remember in that majlis, me and you and Rasulullah? That makes Zubair realize his mistake, awakened, but his problem was that instead of joining Imam Ali, he left the army. He found haqq, but he left haqq. Why? Because of the personality traits of Zubair. He had Islam. He apparently had iman. With Imam Ali, they brought him the sword of Zubair. He looked at the sword of Zubair, subhanallah. He said, how many sorrow and qam and problem this sword took away from the Prophet of Islam. How much this sword supported and benefited Islam and Rasulullah. What happened to the sahib and the owner of this sword right now? Why? Because of the personality traits of Zubair. Because of being so lovers of dunya and so attached to dunya. This is finally grabbed him and hurt him when the mu'min doesn't have taqwa, when the Muslim doesn't have iman and taqwa, finally somewhere will hurt them. That's why some people, they become Muslim for the sake of dunya, for the sake of money. And whoever stands in front of them, they will be against them. They will kill them. They will hurt them. No matter what, they will hurt them. If you step on my side and you want to take anything from me, I will stand in front of you. Yazid, these famous examples, Ibn Ziyad, Umar al-Sad, all these people. Ibn Umar al-Sad in Ashura, brothers, before Ashura in Muharram, Imam Hussein had a meeting with him. He said to Umar al-Sad, You know, he said, yeah, you know, they promised me I'm going to be the governor of Ray. If I be the winner of this war, I'm going to be. Imam Hussein says, he said, I will, before he said that, he said, you know, if I be with you, Hussein, they're going to take my house away from me, all my properties, all my money, everything away from me. I can't be with you. Imam said, Zubair, I'll give you more than what you will lose. I'm going to put it this way. If you lose your house or your money in Kufa, I'll give you better than that somewhere else. Imam is giving the hujjah enough for him that there's nothing else that he can say. No more excuses. He says, whatever they take away from you, I'll give you more, somewhere else better. I'll give you in Medina, somewhere else better. He said, no, this is excuse. Finally, Imam, he said that, no, I'm going to be the governor of Ray. Imam says, Wallahi, you will never see Ray. You will not eat from the wheat of Ray. So that's taken. What? So that means Umar said he knew Imam Hussein, that personality traits hurt it for the sake of dunya stood in front of Imam Hussein, right? So therefore, we have to analyze ourselves with deen and without deen. With deen and without deen. How are we? And how much deen is affecting, how much deen is helping us? Then why deen? Then why deen to this point? Amr ibn As, he had a son. His name was Abdullah. You know Amr As with Muawiyah, how cunning he was. Anyhow, he had a son, Abdullah, that Amr As, he was, talking to his son, and he was consulting with his son about Muawiyah, about Ali. The son told him, father, if you be with Muawiyah, you will have dunya. If you be with Ali, you will have akhirah. It's up to you, but it's better to be with Ali and choose akhirah. And he went opposite, and definitely didn't follow what was even recommendation of his son. Come to our time. How much deen could help you? How much Muharram could help you? If I ask you, I don't know who is watching, who is hearing this lecture. How old are you right now? Answer to yourself. How many Muharram you attended so far? How long are you being Muslim? Have you been Muslim? How Muharram so far helped you to change your personalities, to have the personality of dindaran, religious people, believers? How much Muharram helped you so far? Beside our matam and respect and azab for Imam Hussein والسلام, and all those things that we're talking about it, how much deen helped you in practice to change your akhlaq? I had a younger one came to my office, and he had an issue with his father. Very educated person. I know them. My father is like this. My father is like that. He's yelling at me. He's disrespecting me. I said, was there any moment that your father was good that you realized? He said, yeah. A few years ago, my dad went to Hajj. When he came back, for a few months, he was very good. I said, what happened? Said, I don't know. And he lost it or whatever. That was an interesting point for me, that he realized throughout these years that he knew his father. When he went to Hajj, he came back, the father was different because of Hajj, because he correlated that to what? He related that to what? To Hajj. So the question is that, are we changed because of deen? Those changes that we had, they were permanent or temporary? Remember what I started with the lecture? Dindaran's traits, the religious and believers' personality traits and positivity is not temporary. It's a stable personality traits within that person, that they keep practicing it. The bravery of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hussein and his companion, it's not something that they practice the night of Ashura, that's why they're brave. No, it's within themselves. The bravery of Muslim ibn Aqil and his children, it's not something that they just practice. No, it's within them. nature of the, the family and the generation. When you look, you see that then, actually I had, we have the children's program currently right now for our children. We created a beautiful booklet, very informative booklet at California time, 7 o'clock. The programs that starts, by the way, if you would like to have your children attend, you can. Maybe brothers, I will send an email to you so you will have the link. In the booklet, one part of the booklet that we have, you can download it online as well. One section we dedicated to friends and foes. Friends and foes in the booklet. And in the booklet, in this booklet for children 4 to 11, 2 different sessions we have, 2 different classes. For these children, we brought this manifestation, this taqabul. We brought this confrontation between friends and foes in Karbala. Very interesting. By what? By describing the personality of each of them. Something that we're doing now advanced in the lower level. When I was reviewing the point to make sure everything is fine, it was very interesting even for myself to see the confrontation of not just people, their personality against each other. So this person, for example, Habib ibn Mudahir, Muslim ibn Awsaja, Burayr, Zuhair ibn Ghayn Hilali, their personality from the beginning and the personality of the enemies of Muhammad, bin Hajjaj, Shamr, Yazid, Khuli. Very interesting when you analyze them, when you put them next to each other. This is the confrontation of the personality that comes from Iman, Islam, or from the nature of this person, how it's working. Then you see how deep is Ashura. Remember yesterday we talked about another layer into Ashura. We said we have one group. Before yesterday, we said one group, the side of Imam Hussein, they're all good. One side, the barbaric section, the opposite of side, right? The third group, we mentioned about someone like Wahab, that he's Christian, he comes, right? I'm going to add another layer right now to make it more complicated. Among the Shuhada of Karbala, there were some of them that they didn't want to be with Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Bismillah. I thought from the beginning, all of them, they were so passionate to come with Imam Hussein and die for Imam Hussein and sacrifice themselves for Imam Hussein. No. Some of them didn't want even to come with Imam Hussein. You know him. One of them, Zuhair ibn Qayd Hilali, when Imam, he left Mecca towards Kufa, he was with his caravan of himself and his business and whatever he had with his wife. And wherever Imam Hussein was stopping, he deliberately and purposely says, do not stop in the same station and manzil with Hussein. I don't want to be with him. I don't want to see him. I know the ikhtilaf and issue between him and Yazid. So either go behind him or after him. But it's the same path, right? In one manzil, they were both together. That's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to bring the guidance. Then Imam Hussein, he sent his what? Zuhair is one of the greatest companions, Shuhada of Karbala. Then Imam Hussein sent his messenger, Zuhair, come, I want to see him. Zuhair says to his wife, no, I'm not going to go. Subhanallah, one of the greatest Shuhada of Karbala, Hussein sent a messenger to him and says, no, what's the point? I know what he's going to talk about. Subhanallah, what is about this Ashura? So many layers here, so many personalities. But hold on. Then his wife was the one who made him awaken and talk to him. He says, Zuhair, what kind of ghayur and brave person are you that the son of Rasulullah is calling you and you don't want to even to go to see what he's going to talk about? At least go see what he's going to talk about. He pushed that bottom of ghayrat and chivalry and the passion and protection of Zuhair. He says, yes, you're right. He left. He probably left. He says, what Hussein is going to talk about. He came back. The history is quiet here. Don't know what happened here. What Imam Hussein told him. And when he came back, he told his wife, okay, I'm going to divorce you because I'm going to go with Hussein. I don't want you to be in war. And I'm going to give you and my ghulams all the money and everything. Khudafis, we left. What happened, Zuhair? This is the fourth group. What makes him to come to Hussein? Something is in heart of Zuhair that he comes back. He goes to Hussein. Why? No, Maulana, it's about Imam Hussein inviting him. That's why. If Imam Hussein invite us, we'll go to him as well. No, you make a mistake. Why? Because Imam Hussein, he sent his messenger to Zuhair ibn Qayn, and Zuhair went to Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein himself went to the tent of Ibn Hurr Ju'fi, and he rejected the request of Imam to be with him. Subhanallah. You tell me, brothers and sisters, what is the difference here? Both of them are Muslim. Both of them are praying. Both of them are fasting. Both of them under the nation of Islam. Both of them, they knew Imam Hussein. Both of them from the same city, Kufa. Both they saw Amir al-Mu'minin and help Amir al-Mu'minin. What is the difference between these two people? That one is rejecting Hussein in the tent. I can't help you, Hussein. One send a messenger, comes and leaves everything, a billionaire. He gives all the business to others and says, I have to go with Hussein. Is there anything beside the personality that comes from Iman? Is there anything? Iman initially didn't help Zuhair, because Zuhair says, I don't want to go to see even Hussein. Something is about here that helped. What was that help? The wife of Zuhair, subhanallah, is approving what we're talking about, brothers and sisters. The wife of Zuhair didn't say, what kind of mu'min are you? What kind of salat you recite that you don't go see Hussein? What kind of Quran you recite? She didn't say that. She said, do you have ghayrat? Do you have the passion? I thought you were a man. You want to leave the son of Imam Hussein? Don't even listen to what he's pushing the personality traits of Zuhair ibn Qayn al-Hilali. When she's pushing that personality, you have ghayra. You're ghayur. I thought you have ghayra. You can go see what Hussein says. As soon as she's pushing that, Zuhair is listening. SubhanAllah. I want that personality traits. I want that personality traits. That even if there are some mistake and some issues there, but the personality traits, as soon as you talk about the ghayrat is a imani personality trait. Ghayrat is that protection, that passion, that chivalry that a Muslim and mu'min should have, right? Ghayrat towards what? The way that you have ghayrat towards your wife and your family, your daughters, protection, you're protecting them, right? The way that you have towards your what? Towards your deen. Someone come and disrespect deen and me be quiet? No, it's impossible. I can't. Walham, the wife of Zuhair. You're talking about my personality now. If you were talking about Quran or Salat or Iman, I would say that's fine, because I just came from Mecca. But because you're talking about my personality, that's what we need to raise in our children. That passion that comes from deen, by the way. That passion, that ghairah, that chivalry that comes from deen, because that's the best level. When taqwa is related to deen and comes from deen, then that has a beautiful result in fruits. That's what we want. Then, therefore, we have to work on our behavior and our praise and our akhlaq, on the actions, on the result of Iman, the result of Muharram, the result of Safar, the result of Azadari, the result of fasting, the result of Ramadan, which would shows itself in our behavior. We have to work on that, inshallah. The ghairah doesn't have age, brothers and sisters. This personality doesn't have, what comes from deen doesn't have any age limit. The way that Muslim ibn Aqil showed his ghairah and passion and chivalry and iman and his personality in Kufa by standing in front of Ibn Ziyad. The children of Muslim, they did the same things. These two little children of Muslim, Ibrahim and Muhammad, the children of Muslim. According to some traditions, they have been arrested after Ashura in Kufa. However, they ran away They grabbed them, they arrested them for 1 whole year. They were in Kufa, arrested, until the moment that, God knows, in 1 year, these little children, brothers and sisters, they could probably beg the others, please, we forget about us. We don't like here, we don't like them. Probably very strongly staying with their beliefs, the path of their father and their uncle Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Anyhow, after a year, there was the person, the guard of the prison, who was an old person who was in love with Ahlul Bayt. The sons of Muslim told each other, he's in love. Let us introduce ourselves to him. Anyhow, he recognized them. He let them flee from the prison. Anyhow, they went to the close to the Shat Furat, the Euphrates. When we hear Furat, a lot of memories come into our minds, right? When we say Furat, we remember Abbas. When we say Furat, we remember the dry lips of Hussein. When we hear Furat, we remember Ruqayya and Sakin. They are saying Al-Atash, Al-Atash. When we hear Furat and the water of Furat, we remember Ali Asghar. When we hear Furat, we remember Hussein. This Furat and this water. How much you want to take the water of Furat? How much shame you want to take? Ila yawm al-qiyamah. You didn't let the children of Hussein take from you. You didn't let Hussein take you. You know Furat, what Abbas did. He grabbed to drink you and he didn't drink. Why? Because of Hussein. Anyhow, the children of Muslim next to Furat, they were crying. And a woman saw them. Anyhow, who are you? Where are you? Protected them, brought them into the house, not knowing that her savage husband, the companion and the friends of Ibn Ziyad, finally he realized. He brought them next to Furat again, and he beheaded these 2 little children of Muslim ibn Aqil. When he wanted to do that, the older brother says, do not do that, first kill me and behead me. The younger one was saying, I cannot see that, first behead me. Anyhow, that mal'oon, he did what he was not supposed to do. And when he proudly brought the heads of these 2 little children, who he threw their bodies into the Furat, Ibn Ziyad saw that he cursed him, Mal'oon, how could you do this to these little children? I wanted them to be alive and healthy. How could you do this? And he ordered to kill this Mal'oon. Imam Baqir said, if Rasulullah, he ordered you guys to treat us badly, to treat us not nicely, you could not do anything more than what you did to us. From the moment that you kill Abu Bakr Zahra behind the door and the wall, all the way to our father, all the way to our Jad Hassan and Hussein, and what you did. This is the shame of the history of human beings, what they could do to the children of Muslim and children of Hussein. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بغيت وبغي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Altogether, inshallah, make this as a khana per ronak out loud, inshallah. Assalamu ala al-Husayn وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. One more time. Close your eyes. Go to بين الحرمين and say the salam. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي ibn al-Hussein. Before you say أولاد al-Hussein, remember these little children after Ashura running on the desert of Karbala. وعلى أولاد al-Hussein وعلى أصحاب الحسين على لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم عجل وليك الفرج والعافية والنصر ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم. ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله. بحق الحسين hasten the ظهور of our Imam Mahdi. Give us tawfiq and opportunity to be among the true followers of our Imam. Do not let anyone from our generation be against the path of Ahlul Bayt and Quran. Those who have hajat, my dear brothers and sisters, give them khair hajat. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our Amal and our gathering and our majalis to their soul. Ya Allah, accept all these qalil tawassalat from all of us. Rahimallah man yaqra al-Fatihata ma as-salawat. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
یا حسین آنو محمد میرے آنو محمد آنو محمد میرے آنو محمد خوابی زینب کا تھا چاند ستارے میرے چاند ستارے چاند ستارے ماموں پہ ہوں گے فدا گود کے پالے میرے گود کے پالے گود کے پالے خواب یہ سچا ہوا سر میرا اونچا رہا ہو کے شہ پر فدا لال میرے شیر میرے چاند میرے اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد جعفر تیار کے خون کے عکاس ہو خون کے عکاس خون کے عکاس حسن میں اکبر ہو تم جوش میں عباس ہو جوش میں عباس جوش میں عباس جنگ کے میدان میں موت کے ارمان میں سائے قرآن میں ایسے اٹھو ایسے بڑھو موت پہ تم ٹوٹ پڑو اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد ہاں میری تاکید پر دھیان تمہارا رہے دھیان تمہارا دھیان تمہارا جا کے لبے نہر بھی پیاس کا وارا رہے پیاس کا وارا پیاس کا وارا دودھ نہ بخشوں گی میں منہ بھی نہ دیکھوں گی میں شیر کی بیٹی ہوں میں وعدہ کرو آؤ چلو چپ نہ رہو اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد مانا کے پیاسے ہو تم پیاس پہ قابو رہے پیاس پہ قابو پیاس پہ قابو شہ کے علمدار کی ساتھ میں خوشبو رہے ساتھ میں خوشبو ساتھ میں خوشبو بس ہے تمنا میری لاج رہے خون کی ہے یہ وصیت میری کھا لو قسم جاؤ حشم ہوگا نہ کم اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد اونو محمد میرے اونو محمد یا حسین
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکم یا عبید اللہ واویلا ببین امن افتاد امو بین گودا داره زیر سر نیزه ها میره از باد ببین با سقارت داره میشه جنجا شب طفل یتیم آقا امام حسن ابا عبدالله بن حسن ویلا چقدر زخم تموم تنش رو گرفته چشای یکی جوشنش رو گرفته چشای یکی پیهنش رو گرفته نزار یتیم شب دوباره پسرهاشو کشتن نگن یار نداره ببین که همه دور کردن میرن توی گدال دست پر میکردن همون جون 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 با بیلا رسیدم ولی چه رسم نبرده کلا خود تو دست به دست این گرده جای چکمه شن با سینه چه کرده عمو جون هنوز از تن سهمشونو نبردن هنوز نیزه هاشون دود نخورده هنوز نیزه هاشون به بندود نخورده چقدر خوب دارم میشم با تو بارم سه روز جسم من میمونه تو گدار من از قتل گاه تو بیرون نمیرم بذار مثل اصلا تو دستت بمیرم عمو جون 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 بر من شامم میرسد هر لحظه موی کربلا بر دلم ترسم بماند آرزوی کربلا تشنه آب فراتم ای اجل مهلت بده تا بگیرم در بغل قبر شهید کربلا حسین جانم 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 السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله شب غریب یتیم آقا امام حسن آی عبدالله ابن حسن از وقتی چشماشو باز کرد عمو حسین هم جای عمو بوده هم جای پدر بوده آی 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 یکی از سفارش های با عبدالله به زینب کبرا لحظه های آخر سفارش به این پسر بود این آقازاده فرمود زینب جان دست عبدالله رو بگیر رها نکن آی آی اما من نمیدونم چی شد از بالای تل زینبی زینب تماشا میکنه عبدالله تماشا میکنه شاید لحظه ای رمق از دست زینب رفت عبدالله بدو دست رها کرد نبید به سمت رد نگاه دید ملعونی شمشیر بالا برده بر بدن عبدالله ابا عبدالله بزنه خودشو انداخت رو بدن ابو اما تا شمشیر پایین آمد وقتی دست عبدالله قد شد فریاد زد با ما من نمیدونم حدس منه شاید یاد دست مادر فاطمه زهرا افتاد وقتی اون با غلاف شمشیر بر دست فاطمه ای ابو جان دستایم را سپر کردم برای خنجرم دست من افتادم به یاد مادرم السلام عليك يا مظلوم يا عطشان يا عبد الله اسمك العظيم الأعظم إنما المظلوم بكربلاء يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك واكفنا يا قاضي الحاجات ويا كافي المهمات انك مجيب الدعوات انك غافر الذنب والخطيئات انك على كل شيء قدير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات
اللهم صل على